So I was out on Monday. I did not get to cover this on Sakurai, but this is actually comes from the gamer out of all places. Sakurai says Japanese developers should make Japanese games, not Americanized ones. 100% based. Holy crap. Super based. Man, the thing is, that's where you get good games. Like if Japan actually catered towards the American or westernized audience, you will never have stuff like Muscle March. You will never have stuff like Katamari. There's a lot of games that you would probably never have gotten if it wasn't for Japan being Japan. And that's the reason why we like their games, is because we've been getting a lot of really crappy games as of late from the US or westernized gaming development studios, and not so much from Japan, China, Korea, right? So let's go ahead and read this article right over here. Let's see. Legendary Japanese developer Masahiro Sakurai. If you guys don't know who he is, Sakurai is basically the guy who did Smash Brothers, right? It's between him and a bunch of other people there, but Sakurai is the guy. Has advised Japanese developers to continue creating games that Japanese people enjoy rather than trying to conform to whatever is becoming the industry standard. Sakurai recently accepted an Art Encouragement Prize from the Japanese government's Agency of Cultural Affairs. The award has presented to Sakurai in recognition of his Masahiro Sakurai on Creating Games YouTube channel, an educational resource for game developers where Sakurai leverages his decades of experience and in the industry to provide advice and tips on creating games. In an interview with Antax, translated by Automaton, Sakurai gave his opinion on how Japanese developers can keep pace with booming industries in China and abroad. Authenticity is key, 100%. That's the reason why we like watching and reading and playing games from different cultures, is because it's different from ours. We want to see that kind of stuff, how wacky and wonky things can be, right? Like if Miyamoto didn't come up with a plumber eating mushrooms, high on mushrooms, and basically jumping on Goombas and turtles and shit like that, like imagine if he thought about, oh, we should think about our Western developers. They might not like this, so they create stuff that's geared towards us, and that's how you get the depth of creativity. Whenever you are trying to cater to everyone, you cater to no one. And we do know that Japan has a lot of very, very talented people over there that are making very good games. However, whenever Japanese companies and studios cater towards the American companies and the American audience in general, that's where you get really, really shitty stuff. Things are censored. Things are not, things like censorship is probably the main thing. Or you get really, really bad games, right? There have been really, really bad games that as of late that came out from Square, even though it's not directly from Square, it is Square related, is because Forspoken is basically garbage. It was so bad that the studio had to be liquidated. We don't want any more of that. Especially if we want that to happen for shitty video game studios and shitty video game companies and developers. We don't want that to happen to good developers, right? So imagine if Final Fantasy VII Original was catered towards the American audience or Americanized audience. Tifa's boobs would not have been that big to begin with, right? And another thing is, they already have an ethics department that was drummed up because it was catering to the Americanized, the Western-based audience. And how can you say that, oh, we let your creativity roam free, you can do whatever you want, right? You can't do that if you're catering to all of that Western bullshit, right? Let's see, it's not really my own idea, but as an industry trend, I think Japanese people should keep pursuing the things that Japanese people like, Sakurai suggested. There was a culture of making Americanized games because various games were popular in America. Sakurai believes that overseas fans who enjoy Japanese games enjoy them because of their authenticity and don't want filtered experiences intended to cater to their personal experiences. I think they seek uniqueness and fun Japanese games, Sakurai said. Now, a very good example is when they bring on a game like they have to localize it here, right? A big one would be Fire Emblem. I know this is like, oh, you all you care about is Gooner stuff. Well, I do care about it a lot. Okay, I'm not saying that I don't. I do care about it a lot. Tharja, one of the best waifus in Fire Emblem Awakening. Fire Emblem Awakening was actually what got me into playing Fire Emblem in general. If Fire Emblem Awakening did not sell or did not do well, Fire Emblem would have died right then and there. Right now, coming from me being wifing up Tharja, because getting Tharja as a wife, actually your offspring has the highest stats. But there is a scene in Fire Emblem Awakening when you actually, it's during the summertime, when you actually want to go talk to her during the summer, you go into her tent and she's getting undressed, right? So you see her underwear. In the American one, it's being covered by like a piece of paper. Why would you do that? Oh, because, we want censorship. That's one thing that I don't want. We should leave Japanese games alone as how the creators and developers intended it to be. Okay, you pick Olivia. Olivia's I. Let's see. The Super Smash Bros. Creator concluded by saying, I think that the ideal would be to make the games the way you like it, as those who agree with you will like them. He stresses that doing things freely without succumbing to external pressure is crucial to creating good games. 100%. And I already said this, but I didn't like, it goes without saying. Imagine if there were companies that, or investors or stockholders, limiting your creativity, limiting your freedom because of, oh, we gotta make sure that this game is, broad, and we want to cast the biggest net so we can catch the most fish, right? But the thing is, if your game is being censored heavily, your game is gonna suck, and people will know it. People will see it, right? Like, think of the whole free Stellar Blade movement. That if Sony did not, censor the hard R, censored the holiday rabbit outfits and all the other censored outfits, no one would have said anything, and the game will just continue going on as it is, right? But the thing is, it was the whole Streisand effect. People who didn't really care about Stellar Blade, it was like, what's going on? What's this whole free Stellar Blade movement, right? And everyone started seeing it. It's like, wow, so Sony actually censored it. But the thing is, we do know that Shift Up agreed to it, right? And they put out saying that, oh, they're not going to censor the game. It's gonna be completely uncensored. But after the game released, the game was censored. We don't want any more of that bullshit. We want stuff that the creators want to create. We want to see their vision come to life without any, I would say, crazy ass people online saying that, oh, this game is too hypersexualized. This game is too this game is too that. We don't want that bullshit. If you don't want to play the game because you think the game is too hypersexualized, is too degenerate for you, Melanie Mac, then don't play the game. All right, look at the back of the box, look at the ESRB. If there's nudity, if there's anything that you don't want, don't play the game. It doesn't fucking matter, right? The game wasn't made for you to begin with. And I'm beginning to believe that we should actually start gatekeeping these games and our our hobbies. We should actually start gatekeeping freaks and weirdos who don't even play games or buy games at all from our hobbies, so we actually get an authentic gamer experience from the developers. We should, right? Let's see. Sakurai's thoughts on the importance of an unfiltered creative process are poignant in an industry where creation is so expensive that publishers, venture capitalists, and conglomerates have an inordinate amount of power over the finished product. We've seen numerous times the value of allowing studios and developers to execute their visions without interference. As a counterpoint, we've also seen studios flounder for many years without producing a viable product. It's never-ending balance act within AAA development and isn't likely to disappear anytime soon. Split Fiction creator Joseph Fares recently shared a similar sentiment to Sakurai, saying that Haze Light Studios operating without interference from publisher EA is integral to the studio's success. And imagine if Smash Brothers, like, oh, in Smash Brothers 64, whenever you use Pikachu and you shock Samus, you see like a polygonal female figure, and a lot of woke people get, oh no, degeneracy, oh no, fucking nude characters. Oh, you can look up Princess Peach's dress. Oh, think of the horror, the humanity. Imagine you get all that interference. The game will never be done. You have to continue redoing the game over and over again. That will inflate the prices. It's because you have to delay the game because of your dumb ass insecurities. This goes both, not just for video games, but also for movies. All right? If it wasn't for studio interference, we would have gotten a lot of good shit by now, right? Like, whether you like the Snyderverse stuff or not, if it wasn't for studio interference, the Snyderverse would have came out, right? You didn't have to freaking bring in Joss Whedon, give us a fucking neutered version of Justice League. Just look, Zack Snyder's daughter that passed away, all right? Both him and his wife work on that movie, all right? Just let him mourn, delay the movie until he's done editing the movie, and then let that movie come out. But no, what about our investors? What about our freaking board members? They need to make money, right? Look, there's a reason why the Snyderverse died. If we actually got the Snyder cut to begin with instead of the fucking Joss Whedon version, we probably would have gotten a Justice League follow-up with Darkseid. Whether you guys liked it or not, but yes, I can't agree more with Masahiro Sakurai. I always loved Masahiro Sakurai. The only one time that I didn't like him though is when he brought in Terry Bogard and he was introducing all of the cameo characters, right? And then he said, people are wondering, where's Mai Shiranui? And he says, Mai Shiranui is not in this game is because Smash Brothers are for good little girls and boys. I think that is interference in my opinion, right? Smash Brothers is so big. Look, they already nerfed Zero Suit Samus from Smash Brothers Brawl to Smash Brothers 3DS and Wii U. We already saw that. But the thing is that now you can't even look up the girls' skirts. The immersion has been ruined and broken now. All right? Whenever I tilt the camera and look up Princess Peach or Princess Daisy's skirt and it's a black void instead of underwear, I get mad. So we need to start gatekeeping these kind of stuff. All right? Now, the only way that we will allow you to be into our midst and play amongst us cool gooner gamers is if you don't do anything, you don't change anything. And the thing is that if the game does get really, really popular, we need to actually voice our concerns that things should be as how the developers wanted it to be, without any publishing interference, without any dumb audience interference, right? Now, on the other hand, people are saying, but what about Sonic? Sonic was fucking ugly and then the fans complained a lot and then it was better. There is a time and place where we can actually voice our concerns if something looks really, really awful. Now, in my opinion, if the fans actually came out and said the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movies that came out that Michael Bay worked on look really fucking ugly and they changed it to how the actual turtles look like from the 90s or the late 80s, I think people would probably have accepted those turtles more. But I digress. But yes, big W, the GOAT has spoken. Masahiro Sakurai, don't ever change. And it'll be freaking awesome if when the Switch 2 comes out, there is a sneak peek that a Smash Brothers will be coming out. Is because that's sort of what they did with the Switch, the OG Switch. So you never know. But let's hope that Masahiro Sakurai will continue being the GOAT and give us another Smash Brothers.